Come on, pianomattyb. Come on, that's no way to wake up on Tuesday. Well, hey, listen, you know, the facts on this channel is just like care not for bulls nor bears. Low time horizon, so when the numbers come in, the numbers come in. So we'll take a look at those numbers. Is it possible that Bitcoin has returned zero? Do a little TA a little bit later, but let's do some housekeeping here, see what's going on in the market. The quick data here, fear and greed, 24. There's extreme greed. Oh my God, extreme greed. It went up one. We're less scared by one. Bitcoin dominance 62.5%, 24-hour volume, audio, come on. Unbelievable that the audio, like, really? You're still going to do this to me, Ecamm? I fixed it now. I fixed it. So what I said there in a nutshell, and so just to let you know, that in itself will kill the stream. You know, the fact that the audio is low, because people who watch this later will go, nah, audio's fucked up. So I just ruined the stream. Whatever. Okay, here we go. Quick recap of what I just said. Is it possible that we're at zero returns? The math doesn't lie. We'll take a look at the math, do a little TA. That was in a nutshell. Fear and greed was at 24, up from 23. Bitcoin dominance 62.5%, 24-hour volume 147, and market cap 2.53 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Remember I was going to learn Mr. Rogers? I still haven't. I'm going to make a very simple version of it because it is so hard. I'll just dumb it down like I do most of the songs I do. Yeah, so let's see here. Is the math wrong about Bitcoin returning zero returns? Now, you have to factor in. Now, this whole equation, there's a couple of moving factors, but the big equation is inflation and debasement. So once we factor in inflation and debasement, we come up with a number, and this is contingent on a 69K purchase, right? So everything's different. If you got in at $1, well, your whole life's different. You got it at 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. We're just talking about dollar for dollar, 69K. So in 2021, it was 69,000. Then we went into the crypto winter. Now, taking away it going down and coming up again, we are now 4 years later. It is now 79.8. Now, of course, with the beauty of Grok and X, I was able to find out what debasement was. And even though it came up with a bunch of numbers, right? So obviously, inflation is a moving basket of lies. If you listen to the government and their 400 PhDs, they're like, well, we can't really point, we can't put our finger on exactly why it's going up, even if it is going up, because I think we said it wasn't going up. Is it? Are we saying that now? You get it. It's all lies. But when you aggregate all the info and the data, it works out to basically about 16.5%. This is like this little Grok thing is, it looks like the white paper. It has all the formula for debasement and whatnot. The music is too loud. That's weird. I can barely hear it. Still can't hear it. I don't even hear it. Let's just shut it off, I guess. Well, now I forgot what we were even talking about. End stream. Click. Anyway, this is basically, it looks like the white paper here. I can barely hear it. What music? Yeah, okay. Should have listened to the mass people here. Anyway. You know what? Also, on a side note, I just looked at some metrics. 65% of people watch my channel on a phone. I thought that was weird. Inflation, it's just the myth, Squeaky McGee. That's right. I haven't played that song in a long time. Sound is fine. Okay, perfect. Agreed. Music is fine. Slightly there in the background. Yeah, I couldn't hear it. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how someone's, phone versus iPad. Anyway, let's get back to topic here. Holy smokes here. This is like the white paper, how Grok figured this out. I'm going to spare you all the different calculations, but it basically came through to 16.5%. So if you were to do 16.5%, now so it's just not me doing this. Let's before I do it, I'm going to say I've done this before. So the funny thing about Grok is that do you guys find this when you're talking to Siri or Grok, you get a little nervous, right? You almost like it's like you're publicly speaking, and then you talk differently. You talk like you're talking to a very smart child. Like when I'm in Siri and I'm like, Siri, play "Why Can't We Be Friends" by War on YouTube Music. Like it's smart and dumb. Did I just hear someone say something? Am I now hearing things? Weird. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So let's 16.5%. If the Bitcoin price is 79.9 and the debasement of the dollar is at 16.5%, what is Bitcoin actually worth compared to 2021 at 69K? We're busy, come back later. Come on. Let's do this. Always got to shut you down. It's amazing. So, obviously I just don't come here without things prepared, if you know what I mean. I go through this. I make sure Grok's working. And then I go live. Grok, are you there now, Rex, or are you still too busy?
Hey, I'm right here for you. Not too busy at all. How can I help you this morning?
All right. In 2021, the Bitcoin price peaked at 69K. We're now at 2025. It's at 79.9. We've experienced 16.5% debasement of the US dollar. What is it now worth?
Let me think. All right, let's break this down. Bitcoin peaked at 69,000 in 2021, and now in 2025, it's sitting at 79,900. With the 16.5% debasement of the US dollar since then, we're talking about the dollar losing some of its purchasing power. To figure out Bitcoin's real worth adjusted for that debasement, you'd take the 2021 peak of 69,000 and adjust it upward by 16.5%, which comes out to roughly 83,385. Since Bitcoin's current price of 79,900 is just shy of that, its real value today, accounting for the dollar's debasement, is pretty close to that 2021 peak in terms of purchasing power. It's kind of like saying Bitcoin's worth about 79,900 in today's dollars, which is exciting to see, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's actually... Sorry, I interrupted you. Go on. Are you done?
No worries. No worries. I was just wrapping up. Yeah, I'm done. Bitcoin's real value today, with that 16.5% debasement, is basically right around 79,900 in current dollars, just a hair below what 69,000 would be worth now. What were you going to say?
Well, now I'm wondering, what do we have to be at to actually make $1 since the 2021 Bitcoin peak of 69 with debasement involved?
All right, let's figure this out. You're asking what Bitcoin's price needs to be today to gain $1 in real value over the 2021 peak of 69,000, adjusted for that 16.5% dollar debasement. So, 69,000 adjusted up by 16.5% is about 83,385, like we said. To make $1 more in real terms, Bitcoin would need to hit 80,386 today. To beat that peak by $1, accounting for the debasement. Anything less, and you're not quite there yet.
Well, here's the good news. Here's the good news. We are $200 away from making $1. Isn't that fantastic? So we're at 80.1, psychological level of 80. 80.3 is the $1 mark. So anyone that was waiting from 2021 at 69K, I mean, how many people bought in at 69K? Probably a lot, but how many people held through? That's the real hero. Buying at 69K, having it drop to 15. I guess at 15, you're like, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to sell it here? So let's just say they round tripped it from 69. We're about to make $1. Once it hits 80.3, you're about to make $1. And that's kind of sad, you know, but it's an example of how critical and how brutal inflation in the debasement of the dollar. And at the end of the day, that's, you know, why we Bitcoin is it's you know, it's the protection of it. Now, some might say on this 4-hour noisy little so-and-so, we got ourselves a little V-shaped recovery. You know, we're still in the lower east end of this channel of ascension, putting in a lower high. You know, we're still under all three moving averages. Not to poo-poo on this little rally. This rally is, you know, it's textbook relief rally, right? Hit a low, come back up. But you can see once we go over to the ding dong, the daily chart, you can see all this was just kind of wick farming. You know, we put in a long hair, don't care wick. This is the relief rally here. So even though we wick down to 74.6 or 4 or 5 or something, that's 74.5-ish, we really closed the candle up at 78K. That's just a long hair, don't care. Hoppy Isla G, that was Grok. That's a Grok, the standalone app from Twitter or X. You can download it. It's standalone and you can talk to it. It talks to you. Believe me, I talk to Grok all the time. It's funny because the great thing about Grok is that it interprets my horrible. Remember I was saying how I talk very pedantically? I used to be like, Grok, if debasement by 16 points, that's how I used to talk. But now it's like, I just throw it out there and he seems to understand me. Finally, somebody understands me, and it's an AI machine because I can throw out these questions and they're very jointed, like just stream of thought questions. And it'll say, so let me get this straight. Or I think you're trying to tell me this. And I'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to ask you. Sneaky Pete, stream of consciousness is the only way to communicate with AI. You get the best results. Yeah, so you can see on the daily chart here, our actual close was 78. So I would say the turmoil, the carnage kind of dropped us from this 82 where we were basically sitting for a solid month, you know, down 4,000. You know, how much carnage was that considering the carnage on the streets of Wall Street? That's about a 6% drop from candle open to candle close. That's not bad. All things considered, when you think the Mag 7, most things are down. Like, what is Tesla down 50%? Something like that. For sure, the Bitcoiners couldn't handle a 50%. That's just the way it goes. So you can see we just threw in it's a lower wick. You know, just pointing out some of the obvious things. These are obvious things. It's a lower wick, so it is lower lows. And my prognosis for ultimate bullish prowess yesterday was to get back in V shape up to 84K, which would be at the right now at this channel's resistance and the 20 moving average. So when you're taking a look at this, you know, this looks bullish, but this is a wick essentially. You know, this is the 4-hour chart. She's a nice little so-and-so, right? And then we go on the ding dong. It is a wick. Then we move over to the weekly and we can see, you know, it's a downward progression. It's a downward progression. Now, one thing I don't want to do is have the ghost of an arbitrary doodle that I put in, who knows, a long time ago. I don't want that to come in. I'd rather have this ghost come in, but it looks like we're kind of following it a little bit. You can see how much we are following this arbitrary doodle on this one. This is scary. This is scary. Drew it in here on, what is this, January? Now, if we were to follow this arbitrary doodle, we'd be in August when we finally broke out again. Now, if we were to go with classic cycle theory, right around here is where we would see that last blow off top. Now, if we were to sit here in the summer bummer, like this is what the summer bummer would look like, sitting around 80K, which is arguably at zero, right? And this whole thing is Bitcoin zero returns. No one's really talking about that because I guess it's not bullish. You know, everything, man, you got to be bullish. People only want to watch bullish YouTube channel. Okay. And so here we are. We finally start inching up in August and we kind of break out at this 91K level. And then historical cycle theory would say that we would kind of blow it off in November, around November, October. What is it? What do they call November? Can't remember. Everything's been so kind of bearish for Novembers lately. I don't remember what the upside euphemism is. October and whatever. So can we, and let's say we have a decent run. We hit all-time highs again. And let's say we, go to 150. And I know most people are like, 150? Lasers no shave member. Yeah, I haven't shaved in a long time. It's just kind of been like a, why bother? Nope-vember, blow-vember, moon-vember, right? I just haven't, I look at that shaver and I was like, what do I don't need to shave right now. It's not like, it's the idea of a mustache is like the idea of long hair. It's like, it'd be nice to have, long hair, like in my catfish thumbnails. And then I start growing it and I'm like, this is not good. Same with a mustache. It's like, it'd be cool to have a mustache like my catfish thumbnails. Then I start growing it and I'm like, this is not good. Anyway, 150. Let's say we're in August. We do a 150. We get to 150. Oh, God. Okay, here. I got to make this smaller here. Real estate on the screen is that a premium? 90K. Blow it off. That would be a 66% gain from August to November. Nothing really to write home about. 66%, right? We're used to the hundos, the 2 hundo, the 3 hundo, but let's see how this baby can run. If we were to do 3 months, let's say this was August, September, October, November. How much did this run back in 2021 from candle close to peak? 91%. Well, it's kind of, and then you go 16.5% debasement and you probably get to about 66. Now we did that once. Let's check out this one. Let's go from here, like August, September, October, November, candle close to peak, 50%. So those blow-off tops are roughly in conjunction with what we're talking about here. If we summer bummer, unfortunately, we could see that would kind of play out normally. Now I saw someone, who said, would what you're talking about invalidate the 4-year cycle? It depends what you really think the 4-year cycle is now. According to like, if we keep on moving that Overton window of the 4-hour cycle or 4-year cycle, with hitting all-time highs before the halving, that would, to a certain degree invalidate the 4-year cycle, or it's the first kind of foot in front of the other foot to slightly augment the 4-year cycle, I suppose. I mean, but this is where we start rationalizing the 4-year cycle. And who knows, like with how many data points is that? Like we're a 4th data point. That's how early it really is. So for one thing to, not happen or change, oh, that's it. The 4-year cycle's over. Hey, he saw I was waving. He saw I was waving there. It's not enough to invalidate it, but we only know what we know when it happens. We have this year, and I'm pretty excited about this year because it is going to be economic calamity like you've never seen. We're in it right now. And it's funny because there's classic bear market. I don't mean like the Bitcoin bear market, but like there's classic bear market rationalizations going on in the mainstream media. You know, like all the boxes are checked, 20% this year, month over month, this, like all the metrics are in a bear market. Yet everyone is, we start making excuses for everything, even though, everything points in a direction. But this is where I start making excuses too, is that these tariffs are not a black swan, but they are like a stick in the spoke of your big wheel or your BMX, your Kuahara, or your Bigfoot if you're a mountain biker back in my day. I wanted a Bigfoot so bad. Narco Bigfoot. My dad finally got it. And what did I do? I kind of trashed it. Yeah. And a crummy kid. Like within a year it was toast. Maybe it was a shitty bike. I don't know. Anyway, it's like a stick in the spoke of momentum. And then you have to do an endo, flip over, wipe out, make sure your Slurpee is intact. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's wiping out on a bike and saving my Slurpee. No matter what, how crazy it is. It's almost like a cartoon where there's smoke and there's just smoke and things going, and you just see a hand with a Slurpee that's surviving. Then you roll, couple of rolls onto your neighbor's lawn, and they're staring at you. They don't ask, "Are you okay?" They're just sitting there, and you're like, "Got my Slurpee." Now, here's the gross thing about Slurpees. You want to talk about epidemic of diabetes? Like when we were little, every day we went and got a jumbo. They're called jumbos. They were $1. Remember when you can buy a lot of things with $1? And they were like a massive thing of Slurpee, which is just liquid diabetes. And that's what we would do. This was before we discovered coffee and cigarettes and booze, right? We would just go and meet. It was a store called 7 Day in Charleswood. We just drive our bikes there, get a Slurpee, drink it, and God damn it if we didn't have two sometimes. Two, because it's what we would do. It's like, we would get the Slurpee, go back, sit there, get a little bored again. Hey, should we get another jumbo? Yeah, let's go. We ride our bikes and get two. Oh, like the thought of drinking a jumbo of slush right now, it would be like what was that Joe Rogan TV show, Fear Factor? It's like this next Fear Factor, you have to, in one sitting, drink 1 liter of this blue slushy. And I'm looking at it like, I'm out. I'd tap out. I think it would make me puke, let alone two. Bruce Ma, you burned a lot of that off when you're younger. Yeah, well, we were, back in the day, we did a lot of activities, which is weird because it's like I'm always kind of looking at where for Duke, how does he live the life I lived to a certain degree, and like not the bad parts, but the good parts, like hanging out with your buddies all day long. So like in the spring break, which was just, I put him in this camp, this tri-racket camp, where he like plays badminton, tennis, squash, and swimming, and it was great. But it wasn't as great as spring break with your buddies, like eating breakfast plus or minus anything, and then going out the front door and not coming back till dinner because you're playing with your friends all day long on spring break. That's fun. But they don't do that, which is kind of sad. So now they got to go into these camps. And so I always wonder, I'm like, I always tell Duke, I'm like, hey, I really like the fact that you are such a gamer, like not a video gamer, but like we say a camp, you're like, all right, let's do it. But then I realized that's the only alternative he really has to like doing anything outside of hanging out with dad. And I mean, don't get me wrong, hanging out with pianomattyb, there's a lot of life hacks to have. I've been through a lot. I do all the time.
You lie.